Right, evening everyone. I've got a lovely friend of mine. I've actually met this guy in real life a few years ago. I've got Harry Mattazine with us tonight. Hiya, Harry.
Hi, Kathryn. Thanks for having me on.
That's all right, no problem. And Harry's going to be talking a bit about natural healing today. He's actually written, how many books is it, Harry? Is it 6 books you've written, love?
I'm on 6, nearly on 7, nearly done my 7th. I plan to do many more in the future. I'm just excited about writing books. I love it.
Brilliant. That's brilliant. So if we start then from well, a little bit about your background and how you came to start down the rabbit hole would be all right, Harry?
Yeah, sure. So I'm 33 years old now, 33 in 2020. It's kind of a funny year, you know. So, but yeah, I like many people watching this and probably yourself, I got damaged and bruised and scarred by the system to the point where I was broken and had the motivation, I guess, to find the solutions to try and fix me. Because when I was broken by the system at school and uni and just becoming really self-conscious, there was no one to help me. I asked my parents, they didn't have a solution. People listening, the psychologists or whatever, didn't have a solution. That didn't really help me. So I've had to go on this journey, like many people watching here, of like figuring shit out basically for myself and becoming self-independent. And most of all, Kathryn, transforming my brain from darkly negative and suicidal and hate, just a torture mental mind prison, to kind of like, I don't know, loving life and loving people and transform my brain from negative to positive. So that's the journey that I've been on since I was 22. So now I'm 11 years into that. And I'm loving life now. And I was thinking about this today. I take for granted how, I think we all do, how far we've come. Like, really, it's quite an honor, that, quite ridiculous that I've transformed so much. I'm so grateful for the transformations that have gone through me, that have come from the people I've learned from on Facebook, like yourself. Just because there's so many people that I learned from. It's ridiculous. And yeah, I was just a broken person that has gone on a journey, and I've been forced to awaken from the system because the system has so many lies out there that you have to be awoke, you have to unbrainwash yourself from the lies. So that's a little kind of a snippet of like what I've been doing for the last 11 years.
Absolutely. It's 11 years for me as well, funnily enough, Harry. I'm a few years older than you.
Oh, no way. Synchro.
Years for me too.
Synchro, nice.
2010 it was. Yeah, just as what was I going to say then? Just lost my train of thought. Sorry, Harry. Oh, just
no, that's all right.
What did you do in uni, just out of interest?
Sure. Well, I tried because I was going to be a doctor. Actually, Kathryn, I was doing really well at GCSEs, and then really well, like got A stars and A's. And my parents were like, okay, you're going to be. Then I fucked up my A levels, and then I had to go to a rubbish university instead of a good university. And I went to University of Bristol, and I tried history. But the problem was I was so socially anxious that I wouldn't attend lectures. And guess what? If you hide in your room, close the curtains, and don't attend lectures, how the hell are you supposed to pass the exams? So I did that for my first year. I took a year out, and the second year, again, I wasted my parents' money. The parents put the money into this, and I failed my uni twice because I was too socially anxious. So yeah, I tried history, and I'm like on a piece of paper, like many people watching this, probably like a stupid person. However, that's definitely not how I see myself. There's many kinds of smarts out there, and I've had to, you know, unlearn so much from
Yeah. So how did you come across, was this something, you know, when you came across the natural side of things, the fasting and the urine therapy and things, were you know,
sure, that was 4 years ago. Yeah, that was 4 years ago, because 4 years ago, and here's the thing, I started my journey 11 years ago, but the first thing I did was I had to fix my brain. So I had to fix the negativity, and that was with self-help, self-improvement. But I wasn't just reading books, I was taking action. So I was mainly facing my fears. I was, I don't know, approaching beautiful girls on the street, trying to transform my life and become more socializing with more people. But 4 years ago, I've always been open-minded. I've always loved reading books. And I read this book 4 years ago on Amazon. I bought it, called Your Own Perfect Medicine. I don't know if you heard it, Kathryn, by Martha Christie.
No.
Wonder if you have.
No.
Right. That book intrigued me. I was like, Your Own Perfect Medicine. It had amazing reviews on it, loads of them. I read it in a park in Bristol in about a day. So it's not a long book. Had loads of the science of 1930s of urine, why it's amazing. Now, at this point, obviously, I was like everybody else in society. Maybe people watching this, I was thought it was a waste product. I was like skeptical, but I read the book and I was convinced. I was like, I've got to try it. Like, Jesus, I pee every day. I'm going to try this thing. This was in 2016 in a park in the summer. And yeah, the day after I finished reading it, I went and drank my morning pee a little bit, and I got so much energy from that that I was like, I couldn't believe it. I don't think I've ever had a moment, apart from psychedelics recently, that my consciousness has shifted so much during drinking urine. And from that moment, my life path took another change, because that led me to the point I'm at now, where I got obsessed with what you just said, everything to do with health, that went beyond urine therapy, went from into fasting, into sunlight, into grounding, to sun gazing, to being naked, into sleeping on the floor, into semen retention, into tantra, and all these kind of things, and growing your hair long. So that was another curve for me, that the urine therapy, and that's a huge lie that there's so many, Kathryn, you know this. I mean, there's so many lies out there, but yeah, it's a joke. But that one in particular is so powerful, because it's a powerful healing modality that's free. And if everyone accessed their own urine and was in trouble with diseases, or just wanted to raise their vibration, everyone has access to their perfect medicine, as the book calls, at all times. And yeah, it literally, do you know the most exciting thing for me when I tried it? It wasn't just about, it changed my state of consciousness so much. It was like, I knew in my mind, hey, I don't have to pay money for this. Normally you have to pay money, like expensive machines to cure your health and to pharma pills. And this was free. This took me to a new level of excitement. I was like, I don't have to pay money for this. It's amazing. It changed my life. It really did.
And you know what people are going to say at this point, Harry, or some people are going to say, what, this is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, this is crazy. So in terms of benefits from them, what they're going to ask about the science, right? You know what's going to come with it, and there's plenty of science on it. So can you give, you know, in terms of reversing disease and you know, things like that, can you give us some science on that, Harry? That would be great, love.
Sure. First of all, I've written 2 books, and I'd recommend people check them out. But another one is, like you said, Your Own Perfect Medicine has literally all the science from the 1930s on urea and all stuff. For me, what I know is that anything swimming in your blood is going to be filtered by the kidneys, and not as a waste. It's just excess. It's not a waste thing. It's an excess thing. So literally all the hormones, vitamins, minerals, enzymes, antibodies from the diseases you're fighting. For example, we fight cancer every single day. Everyone does, even me and you, Kathryn. And then those antibodies are coming out in the pee. Like if you've got asthma and you've got a disease, COPD, your antibodies for the disease, your body is trying to fight that every single day. It comes out in a pee. So it's like a redoubling of your immune system. Plus, it's like the ultimate supplement drink. This is just fresh urine. Because I wrote a book on different stuff. I wrote a book on smelly aged urine, which is even more powerful. But just a fresh urine is like, it's the ultimate supplement drink. It's also distilled water, which I'm sure you're aware of, is a really powerful, it's a very powerful drink, a very pure, powerful drink. It's structured, it's living. So it's got a lot going for it, the urine. It's honest to God, it's got stem cells. I didn't even mention the stem cells. Jesus, you can regenerate your body with the stem cells. You can grow taller. You can heal yourself from diseases. It seems to be like the ultimate weapon, Kathryn. Like if you have a cut, you have a bruise, you just rub your pee on it. I mean, Madonna cured her athlete's foot with it. It's jellyfish things people know about. It goes way beyond what we think it does.
I just stopped you there when you said about that, because I can remember years ago when I was in the south of France, my dad was a teacher, and every year we used to go to France for the 6 weeks holidays, and me and my brother were messing about in the sea. I must have been about 8, and I trod on what I now realize, I didn't know at the time, it didn't hurt, that it stung, but not as much, because I was still in the water, and it was a weaver fish. I didn't know until I stood out of the water, and I was in agony. I was screaming. And my dad said, right, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I can remember him and my brother had to pee in a bucket. And I didn't care at that point. I was like, but I just wanted this thing gone. So I put my foot, it was the only thing that worked. And within about 5 minutes, the sting had completely gone out of it. So, you know, and people are already aware of stem cell. They're already aware of that. They're just not aware that it's in their urine then, I guess.
Exactly. And by the way, that's a great testimony. And your brothers and your dad's pee, that's very brave. I guess here's the thing we just said, actually, it's really interesting. A lot of people won't try the urine therapy. A lot of people won't try it until they're desperate. And that's okay, you know, because I was kind of desperate. And it, by the way, it removed my depression. I didn't even know I had at that point. It gave me loads of energy. So when you get desperate, you'll try things. And I think with urine therapy, to anyone that doesn't understand like the depths of how amazing it is, it's not just a tool for emergencies. It's good for emergencies, like you said, but it's way more than that. I think the most important thing for anyone that is so willing to dismiss is A, you've got to be open-minded, and B, you make it every day. So here's the thing. just try it yourself if you don't believe me. Like, don't take my word for it. I'm just gonna
you can prove it. There's no
exactly. I'm just here as a we're just here as light workers to get them into the door to try it. Then they take over. Once you try it, you get your own experiences, you'll become knowledgeable about it, and you'll know the truth about this medicine. It's amazing. And not only that, it goes deeper. I can drink yours, I could drink other people's, and it's fine. Obviously your own is the best, but I mean, it's cow urine. This goes deep, Kathryn. It's not even human, it's animals too. Like cow urine works in India. I mean, all animals, like, if I'm being honest, all animal urine would be good for you. I mean, obviously humans the best, but they'd all work as medicine, because your urine it's like, it's not what people think it is. Like, it's there to keep you from accessing your highest self. It's there to keep you hooked on harm drugs, to keep you hooked on chemotherapy, radiation, surgery, and all the bullshit that they send out to us, which Andrew Kaufman talked about. Like, the medical industry is huge, and the medical arm will not make much money if the world knew about urine therapy. Like, and beyond that, if everyone tried it, because it's not good enough to know it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's exactly the same as they do with cannabis, and even something as simple as baking soda being able to alkalize the body. Colloidal silver, they're all enemies of the industry.
Right.
They're against them, right? They do the opposite thing. So it would make sense.
Yes.
They would keep it from us, right? So, you know, most people think, and I did, and you would have done, because we all grew up sort of, you know, indoctrinated in the same way then through the education system, that we all believe that, you know, obviously our feces and our urine is a waste product. That's what we were, that's right. What, you know, obviously made to believe. So what would you say to people on that?
Yeah. That it's a waste. I mean, for the guys, if you think about it from a male anatomy system, we've got the feces at the back, the bum, and then the man's got the sperm and the urine produced from the same thing. Now, it doesn't make any logical sense to me that the sperm, which is magical and it's so powerful, and by the way, semen retention is a whole different ballgame for guys, and that should be practiced, but your semen is special, right? It's sacred. Well, it comes out the same end, your urine, as the semen. It's a highly unusual system for our creator to put them for guys in the same hole. That's that argument. But even bigger than that, Kathryn, is everyone that doesn't believe in it doesn't seem to understand that they were doing urine therapy when they were a fetus in the womb. Like, you can go with it's a waste, but that's rejecting your creation and what made you special and possible to become out of your mum's, you know, to become out as the baby, beautiful baby you did, is the urine, because the urine made your skin soft. That's why a baby comes out surrounded by amniotic fluid and urine, and his skin is always so soft, always. Why is that? Because the urine has got urea and goodness in it. You're surrounded by urine. You breathe it in the womb. You literally, it goes through your skin. Anything that touches your skin as a human or a baby, it goes in through your skin, but also you breathe it through the nose. And actually, it goes deep, Kathryn, because without urine, amniotic fluid in the womb, your lungs won't grow properly. Babies have problems with lung issues if they don't have enough amniotic fluid and urine. So it actually is made possible the life of you and everyone watching this. Without amniotic fluid, of which the urine is like a huge part of it, it's at first for the baby, it's like the mums, because the baby doesn't have any apparatus at the first 2 or 3 months, I think, of birth to make its own pee, but then it uses the mum's pee as the amniotic fluid. But then eventually the fetus does, and then from 3 months onwards in pregnancy, it's the baby's urine that recirculates and it breathes it in, and it also it takes it in through the skin, because anything you go through the skin, anything you touch now, anything we touch absorbs into the bloodstream. So that applies to our urine, obviously. And that's why a baby's skin, everyone says, oh, the baby's skin is so soft. What's the phrase, Kathryn? Soft like a baby's bottom. Yeah, because a baby's... Yeah, because everyone's baby's surrounded by urine. That's how it works. So it's really stupid for anyone to reject what made your life possible. Like...
Yeah, I mean, talking about the lies and whatnot, you know, even from when I was obviously into my vaccine research, something else that came up, you know, when I had Grace, I was so focused on vaccines, I wasn't really focused on anything else, right, at the time, because, you know, I'd just gone into it and it was all a bit. Well, this thing with the cutting the babies, the cutting the cord immediately, this early cord clamping, right? And that baby is obviously feeding from those nutrients, and that's proven to actually be the wrong thing. And it makes sense, doesn't it, when you think about it? You know, they're still feeding again the goodness and the nutrients from that. They need to be on it for and there was actually a photo of twins, right? And they'd cut one cord immediately, and they'd allowed, you know, sort of left it for half an hour, 40 minutes, even later, as long as necessary. And the one which had the cord cut was jaundice, and the other baby was completely, you know, rosy cheeks, beautiful, healthy. You know, you can see the difference. So it is complete. The same thing with fasting. I want you to talk about this because this one actually makes more sense to me now than anything else. And when I was reading Goodbye Germ Theory by Dr. William Tribbing, I don't know if you've read it, it's fantastic.
No, I need to. Sounds good. I like it.
Brilliant. It's brilliant because we know the germ theory is wrong, right? Louis Pasteur's germ theory is wrong. It's the germ theory is where it's at. Well, he says, and it is true that most of us do get, well, not most of us, but we tend to get more sick during the colder months, right? So, but that's because we're dumping our toxins all at the same time, right? So what he's saying is to prepare for those winter months, do 2 fasts, at least 2, one in the spring and one in the end of summer. So kind of, you know, a 5-day, 7-day fast. So then you sort of boost your, you know, your immune system then through the winter months and are able to carry it forward. I know that you do fasting. I'd love you to talk about your experiences with that as well.
Sure. Well, I think, Kathryn, like you, that the body, I learned from urine therapy that there's almost nothing that we need outside the body, that the body can't cure itself and amplify its own state. So you make your own medicine, urine, and also like that's what you just said, fasting. It can be a bit of a mind fuck when you get into this at the beginning, that not eating any food is actually more powerful sometimes than even the best food you could ever eat for your health, like superfoods.
It is. It's a difficult one.
Absolutely. Yeah, but it makes sense because animals, when they get sick, if you watch animals, they'll only drink water and sometimes they'll even dry fast and eat nothing at all. And if you do it too, if people do intermittent fasting, let alone a normal long fast, if you just mess about with like 14, 16 hours a day, don't eat within a 6-8 hour window, which is not too hard, I would hope, for most people. And you just take a break from eating. It gives you a lot of energy. So when you start experiencing the energy you get when you're not eating, you start to question the lies of, well, why is fasting such a bad thing? Because the mainstream will tell you it's a disaster, you shouldn't fast. And we all do it when we sleep, by the way. When we sleep, we dry fast. We don't drink any water when we sleep, do we? We're doing 8 hours. So all it is an extension of what we're meant to do.
Yeah. Something there as well, Harry, just before you go on about this, it's something that takes me back from when, and this is the reason I learned about, you know, this whole breakfast, dinner and tea thing, right? That's only done for the work ethic, right? But I was brought up on, you got to have breakfast. So when I had Grace, obviously I was still focused on the vaccines. I was coming through to the health, right? And with, you know, food and things like that. But she wouldn't eat, right? And it used to really scare me, but she never used to bother. It never used to bother her.
Right.
So when she was about 3, she wanted a boiled egg. So I did her, because we had chickens at the time in the old house. So I did her a boiled egg. She ate one teaspoon of that egg, right? And she wouldn't eat, right? And she just, but I was saying to her, I was getting so worried because I was so thinking that this is she's going to be sick, right? So I'm going, Grace, right, you're not having any chocolate. And she's going, okay, carrying on, doing what? And 3 days, right? And then I said to Darren, she's fine though. She was fine, absolutely fine. I said to Darren, I'm really and then the next day, she woke up and she said, Mum, I'm hungry. And and that's what she's been like. And I was thinking, is this breakfast, dinner and tea thing another crap? She was what made me think about it. It was like, that's what it is. And she's never ill. She's never ill now, you know? It's amazing.
No, and I love her, by the way. I've met up with her. And when I met her, fine. She's an amazing human being. When I met her, I'm sure she's grown even more. Like, she was so amazing because you homeschool her. It's absolutely amazing what you do with her. But by the way, that's a great way to learn, Kathryn, about fasting through leaf-like experiences. Because actually, I've been thinking about this with my parents. Because I remember my parents telling me, even now, I'm 33 years old. I'm not kidding you. My parents will go, make sure you eat all your food. Don't leave a single grain of rice. And I've told them now, and they did this as children, obviously. I said, that is such bad advice to give. And not just my parents. I'm saying this for all parents. All parents do this. They seem to think that they need 3 square meals a day plus snacks. But this is what they don't get. The child intuition often knows. Most children know how much they should eat, like your daughter, like I knew as a youngster. And the parents were like, no.
You know when you're full.
You know.
So as an adult, you know when you're full.
Right.
You know when you're hungry. You know when you're not, you know. So it's no different for a child, is it? I totally see.
Exactly. And it's just programming. It's just programming that tells parents that they're worried. And and I understand, by the way, why you felt like that. But now you realize that actually you could be doing more harm by making your child eat and food that they don't want to eat because they know when they're full. And this goes for us as adults. I believe that this whole structure of breakfast, lunch, dinner plus snacks is probably the prime cause of disease, overeating basically. It doesn't matter, by the way, if it's good food either, in my opinion. Like obviously bad food's worse, but even good food, there's such thing as overeating. It's the prime cause of disease. It's a constant addiction and worry that you're going to have low blood sugar levels. This is a myth that you're going to have low blood sugar levels. You can't let your blood sugar levels drop from not eating. Actually, your blood sugar stabilizes. You have more energy often from fasting. It's a huge lie. They're all tied together.
Exactly.
Every lie in health is tied together.
Yeah, and coming to like with the fast, true, isn't it? That obviously when you start to fast, if you're ill, right, if you're really sick, like many doctors have said, don't eat anything. You know, some people say eat very good foods, don't eat anything, because the first thing that's going to get taken away there is fat cells and toxic cells. That's the first thing that's going to be taken away. So it makes sense to not feed it anything when the body is trying to eradicate toxicity. Let the body do its job. And then when you're fasting, obviously high energy levels and everything else that comes with it. So a bit more about that would be great. About, you know, you do it a lot. So
well, think about this. Like I eat 1 meal a day usually, and sometimes it's not always good food, I must confess. But I found out that condensing my it's amazing, and it gives you loads of energy. And if you think about how amazing the body is, because like, listen, I think we were created like the body. If you stop eating it, all of a sudden its superpowers get activated and it goes to work, and it seems to know exactly where to take out the toxins. And the longer you fast and the more you do the intermittent fasting and extend your hours, the deeper that your body can go to plug toxins. Because if we're being honest, that people are so sick now that the toxins hide in the body in very deep places. They don't just hide in the bloodstream anymore. They go into the crevices of the fascia, the muscles, and they're hard to get out, Kathryn. Like even with good, the longer you fast, the longer you do the intermittent fast, the more deeper the body gets a chance to do it, because the body has superpowers and it knows exactly where the toxins are when it's given time. Because here's the thing, Kathryn, even good foods, they take away energy from your body, like because your body has to digest that stuff. And obviously if it's bad foods, your body takes even longer to digest. It takes energy because your body's an energy system. You run on energy. And guess what? You're draining your energy when you eat 3 times a day plus snacks. Or the more you eat and the more you overeat, the more energy you're draining from your body, which is going to be taken away from your body's superpowers, and your body can't clean all the toxins that are hiding away there, but which, by the way, cause disease. So if you don't clean the toxins that are hiding deep within your body, it may seem on the surface like you're fine and you know you're healthy. You may seem to, oh, I'm fine, I'm healthy. But then what happens? You have a heart attack at 40. You have like arthritis come out of nowhere, Alzheimer's come out of nowhere at 70. It's because you might feel okay because the toxins are hiding deep within your body, because you never fasted, you never did urine therapy, you never did amazing thing, never health protocols. Your toxins reach an overload point. When it reaches the overload point, there's the sickness. It was always brewing. All these diseases that we get nowadays, they don't just come out of nowhere. That's an illusion. There's always been building in your system because you didn't practice fasting. You just ate too much of your life, and you're going to pay a price for that.
It is like a huge myriad of things, isn't it? It's not just the poor food. It's the vaccines.
No,
it's the medication. It's the
vaccines are huge.
It's the, you know, we are in like a, but you know, the body is really quite versatile. It's amazing actually. And if we didn't, you know, even to the point of when we're experiencing symptoms, that's obviously the body, you know, when our toxicity level is too high, the virus comes talked upon by the cells, you know, it's organ specific. You know, without viruses, we would all die. The body would have no recourse to detoxify, right? So it comes up, and then obviously the place is too toxic. The bacteria get poisoned because the cells are too toxic. They can call upon a virus. The virus comes out, acts as a solvent to clean the area. But then what's it going to do with all this toxic shit? It's got to get it out the body. So when anyone's experiencing symptoms, cough, 90% of it comes through the skin, as we know, right? So that's sweating and rashes and whatever. 10% is obviously through diarrhea and through being sick and through your mucus, you know, through the nose and the mouth. So it makes sense, right? Your body then is doing its job. It's doing its job and ridding that toxicity from the body. But what people then assume that is a sickness, something that's come in and made them sick and whatever. So they run to the doctors, right? And the doctor gives them some pill, whatever, and then they're suppressing holding them in the body
Yes.
longer.
Yeah.
So, you know, when they try and come
Yeah,
off
that's huge.
pills later down the line, the withdrawal symptoms are
Mhm.
horrendous, because it's just been pushed
Yeah.
and pushed, and every time you push a
Boom.
symptom, it'll cause another symptom,
Yep.
which people then think is a different
Yeah.
disease, but it's not. It's the same disease.
Yeah.
A different way of a different
Yeah.
way of your body trying to do its job. So fasting.
Yeah. I think people need to rewatch
massively.
I think people need to rewatch what you just said. I think people need to rewatch what you just said, because that's really powerful. Even I learned something there. That's key, because people are muddling up like symptoms of even the COVID and the coughs and the flus and all the bad stuff as actually, that's good, because at least your body's functioning properly to recognize there's a problem, you're under attack, and it's trying its best to get it out. So yeah, like you said, and this is a powerful point. So when they get the symptoms, which might be real, by the way, I'm not going to argue the symptoms aren't real. They go to the doctor and get the medication. Now we know the medication, most of it is absolute garbage. It's going to suppress, you made a great point, it's going to suppress the symptoms, it's going to hide the toxins further in, it's literally going to push the toxins back inside the body, which is going to cause more problems down the line than you could ever imagine. So that's the real conspiracy. Now people say there's no such thing as conspiracies. Oh, there is. There's loads. That's one of them. All this going on now is a massive conspiracy to keep people unhealthy and to lie to us and to keep their pharma drugs going. And the vaccine, the COVID vaccine, that's a conspiracy. It's so frustrating when you think about it. Like if you go deep with it, it's really annoying that all this stuff that's going on. Because another thing, Kathryn, is that when you speak of bigger vaccines, there is actually one good vaccine out there. There's one. Do you know what it is? It's urine. There is one vaccine, because that actually is the ultimate, genuine, no bullshit vaccine. Doing urine therapy, putting a little bit under your tongue, that's the only vaccine you ever need, and that will work. Like even if you just put a little bit under your tongue, you just fresh urine, you put on your skin like a little bit after you've gone for a pee toilet, and you generally have what, if COVID is real, then you do that. You won't have the symptoms. It won't show up, because the urine is the vaccine. The other vaccines they create for us have all kinds of bullshit in them. They damage. By the way, I don't know if you know, Kathryn. I don't know if I told you, I'm short-sighted, and it was because I had perfect vision until 13. I had a vaccine at 13 years old, and a couple of months later, I got short-sighted, and it's not a coincidence. I literally became short-sighted from perfect vision because of a vaccine. Now, I'm not saying that's bad compared to other people, but I'm just saying I'm vaccine damaged.
Yeah,
and that's
it has
a vaccine at school.
It's funny you should say that, right? I didn't know, but it reminded me. My granddad, he's dead now. He died a couple of years ago of dementia, unfortunately. But he was in the RAF, and he was when he was ill about 5 years ago. He was in the hospital, and I had to take my nan to go and visit him. And we were in there, me, my nan, Darren, and my granddad was obviously in there. And he didn't have dementia then. He was just getting poorly. He was talking, and he was sat, and he's always had glasses from what I can remember. And he was sat up in his hospital bed, and he said, I don't know what we were talking about, right? But he said, oh, I remember when I think it was the anthrax vaccine. I can't remember what vaccine it was. He was a young lad, you know, but he was a navigating pilot. So he had to have good eyesight. And he had this vaccine, and he said, no, that was it. He said, oh, I went blind temporarily went blind when I was in the RAF. And I went, oh. And then he didn't even make the connection. He said, I had the anthrax vaccine. And then I went, and I looked at Darren, and I thought, wow, even, do you know what I mean? Temporary. I mean, it did come back, his eyesight, but he did go temporarily blind in one eye just back then. And
wow.
People don't make the connection, though, Harry. You know, some people can
I didn't
visit the scene, and they still
Kathryn, I didn't.
No,
I didn't make the connection. This is really bad. And actually, it goes deep, because I know vaccines cause all kinds of things, not just eyesight problems. They got all kinds. Every disease under the sun, vaccine causes a problem to everyone. By the way, it's never good for anybody, ever. If someone says they haven't got a symptom, trust me, it's doing some damage in your body, whether you feel it or not. But what I was going to say with that is there's a strong link between vaccines liver damage because of the mercury toxicity, and it goes to the liver, right? The liver can't handle it. Now listen, the liver, according to traditional Chinese medicine, is connected to the eyes. The Chinese were very smart, they knew. So the liver gets overloaded by vaccines, therefore it affects your eyesight. Now it affected my eyesight, affected your dad's eyesight. There's a strong link there between the two. And I'll give you an example to prove what I just said, Kathryn. You know, when people drink alcohol, that affects your liver, obviously, more than most organs. Well, guess what? That's where beer goggles comes in. Beer goggles, you know, when your eyes go funny, it's because the liver and the eyes are connected. When you drink alcohol, it damages the liver, which affects up the eyes. So that's proof that the eyes and vaccines and livers all linked together. There's just like simple shit that I figured out that it should wake people up, man. It's really bad, like vaccines.
I didn't know that about the liver and the eyes. You've just taught me something there. But when I'm making a connection, when I talk about that, obviously, because I've researched them a lot, I recognize it everywhere. I know where it is. But even from when I was in school, and I'm 37, so when I go back to prep, right, I don't even think there was one person. There might have been one person with glasses in the whole year. Now, when Grace was in nursery, because she did go to nursery for 1 year before I took her out, there was at least 5 in there, glasses, and some do you know what they're very, so now you see that, you know, that it actually even states it on the back, on the package inserts, that it can cause blindness and deafness and everything else. But I didn't know that about the
and autism, and people should watch. Yeah, it's true. And do you know what? People should watch Vaxxed if they think vaccines are good for them. Have you seen Vaxxed, by the way, Kathryn? That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a really good movie. Vaxxed 2's coming out, I think, soon.
Yeah, I think it's out.
Really, really. Hey, I want to ask you. Oh, 1 second. I can't see. Okay, I've lost.
There you are.
Okay. Right, I was going to ask you a question, like, because I know that you homeschool Grace, and I know I've met her, and she's an awesome person. And like every kid I've ever met, and I've not met many, every kid I met that's homeschooled seems to come out perfect. Could you want to explain to people what's the power of homeschooling? Why are you taking them out of school? And why is it so important? Because I love to hear this too. Why is it so important that that we are doing this? Why do we take them out of the system of the education and control and put it into our own hands? Why did you do that? Why did you guys decide to do that?
For me, you know, for me personally, it was Grace was changing. It was, and she was only little, you know, so for her to change very, very bubbly, like she is now. That's what she was always like as a child, as a really little girl. But after a little while, she started to become sort of, she didn't talk to anyone. Not that she was sad, but she didn't speak to anybody, no one, for 6 weeks, and they didn't tell. And I thought, well, that, because she would talk to me all the way up to school. I'd send her in, and then I'd come and pick her up, and the teacher would go, oh, she's cute, and then she would come home and she would talk. But I didn't realize until later on down the line that she didn't even say a word to anyone for 6 weeks. Then they were doing what I consider, this is just ridiculous, right? Because they were doing this baseline thing. And according to, so this is 4-year-olds now, right? And if you don't fit into this baseline thing or whatever, then you're not developing correctly, and you're not. Now, I hate that shit, right? Because we all learn in a completely different way, which is why I think school, it doesn't work, because you've got one teacher and maybe a teacher assistant to 30 children who all learn in different ways. So even if you catch a very small percentage who work in the way that school, most of the children, whether they realize it or not, are suffering in there because they can't, you know, whereas home education is one-on-one. And I don't follow the curriculum at the moment, because it just, to me, home education was always the way. It was always the way, because that's how we learned. It was passed down from our ancestors through, you know, their wisdom, and we would learn cooking and growing food, and we would learn real life skills, right? Genuine building. We learn all that, and then they put in, you know, the school education system is rotten to the core. And I know people don't want to hear that, but unfortunately, it's producing, you know, it doesn't teach us anything, as you know. It just teaches you, well, it teaches you not to ask questions, and, you know, to obey and be compliant. And if you don't do those things, then you get punished, you know. And I just want Grace to be free. All I wanted, and I never ever sat it down and when you've got to do this, you've got to do that. I taught Grace how to think, and she's nearly 11 this year, and she's a free thinker. That's all I can ask for. She knows she'll go away and have a look on her own.
Yeah.
When we can learn anything. With the origin that Darren does, she learned a lot. She knows a lot about nature. You know. So, and do you know what? Both my parents were teachers as well, so it was really difficult.
Oh wow! Yeah.
But I knew I was doing the right thing, and 6 years on, I've made some ridiculous decisions in my life, but taking Grace to school and home educating her, was the best decision I ever made.
The best.
By far.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. Thanks for explaining that, Kathryn, because I think that the system, like you said, you don't want, like, I'm just thinking whilst you're talking too, if you're teaching kids all the same shit, you're just going to make a robot that knows the same stuff as everybody else. And we're all individuals here that are special, and we all have different masteries. Like Grace has a different mastery, you have a different mastery, I have a different mastery, everyone watching this has a different mastery. Why are we jumping people and not allowing people to see? Because I don't think school allows you to flourish and be creative and to my mastery, your mastery, we've had to figure it out by brainwashing ourselves from the school programming system. So if you're homeschooling kids, they don't even need to start the process of, here's a beautiful thing with kids. When you homeschool them, you're not trying to fix a broken adult like I tried to fix myself. I'm a broken adult fixing myself, I'll admit that. Now, when you bring a kid up properly, that kid is not starting from a position of being broken, having to fix himself. They're starting from a position of, you're giving them the chance. They're not even broken. So now they're going to flourish because they're learning stuff they want to do. They're being exposed to new information that they want to learn. They'll learn the things they want to learn. You'll find out with homeschooling their masteries, what they're good at. You'll feed them the thing. You'll encourage them as a parent, the things that make them flourish, and they'll become literally every kid. I've not met many. Your kid, Grace, is definitely one of them. Every kid I've met, I've been shocked and gobstrucked at the. And I looked at myself and I said to myself, I wish that my parents did that to me. Not really, because I've done a lot of work, but really, I wonder what happened to us, Kathryn. If we were homeschooled, I wonder, and we know what we know now, I wonder how awesome, because the kid is getting not literally the best, that's a cliche, but literally the best start in life. Like, you can't give a kid a better start in life than homeschooling them. Letting them think for themselves, like you said, and then they can do what they want. Non-judgment. Don't tell them as a parent what to do. My parents wanted to tell me what I wanted to become, and social status was important, and doctor, lawyer, dentist. Let a kid be happy and flourish, and let their personality be free, and let them be a master of what they're going to be, and let them fulfill their destiny. Because every kid has a destiny. The matrix and the school system plucks away the destiny of every kid. It takes away their mastery and what they could have been good at. But if you homeschool them, you give them a really good chance of finding what they want to do in life, and even if they don't, they're just going to be so happy. They're just so happy. And what is the purpose of life, Kathryn? For me, it's just it's just to be happy.
What you just said then, and that is the one thing that would really. I even said right at the beginning, me and my dad were having an argument when I first took her out, and he wasn't happy, and we were having an argument, and he said, well, what do you want? You want it to be better? And I went, no, I want it to be happy. And he actually understood what I said.
Right.
We've been arguing for about 4 hours, back and forth, back and forth. We both had a drink. It was years ago. And in the end, he said, well, what? And I said, I wanted to be happy. And he just went, right, because he knew she is happy, right? So I achieved. Because in my mind, right, like you just said then, Harry, a happy child turns into a happy, strong adult. Do you know what I mean? We got to raise strong kids, not broken ones, and then they don't have to repair like me and you, and that's where the position breaks somewhere sometimes. And I broke it for my daughter because I knew what it was, I knew what it was doing, and even more so now we're down the line, because when I took her out, I didn't know, that was 6 years ago. I had a lot of knowledge on things, but the education system, I still wasn't quite, it's only that it was like a few years later I realized, wow, I'm actually really glad I took her out now, because I would have taken her out by now, I think, anyway, Harry, because the way things are going is trauma. These kids having to see
but COVID
masks in school. Well, kids read your face, right? They read your expressions, they see your eyes, they see what you. So it's going to cause a big developmental delay in children, right? This whole scenario is going to cause a huge mental issue in our kids if we allow it.
It's true.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's so true. And what you said as well, like, unfortunately, the way society is at the moment is that we have to be broken, like me and you. We have to be broken in order to really change. But I think in the future, what's going to happen if more people do what you did and homeschool? Imagine if every kid is homeschooled and there is no such thing as school. Then we won't need to leave to a situation where we get broken, because everyone can start at a higher level. And then we talk about like the future of like literally what people might call woo-woo, where everyone's like becoming a hippie and just like living a beautiful existence in perfection. Because actually that stuff is real. It's just we've just dropped down so much. This system has let us down so much that we have to find our way through being broken and being forced to it. But there's a better way, because homeschool kids at homeschool don't feel like I'm broke, I need to fix myself. They're like, I'm happy because my parents let me do what I want. I learn what I want. I learn. They don't. It's not. They don't.
Yeah, it doesn't cross
exactly
mind at all. It's mad. I love it. And you know, people, because even me, when I took Grace out of school, I didn't know what I was doing, Harry. I had no idea. All I knew was that it was the wrong thing, her being in school, right? So I was winging it, and I didn't know what to do. I was just sort of, right, we're just going to have to wing it type of thing. And the thing that got me, and I'm so glad it happened so early on, because it was really important. When I took her out of school, I bought her all these phonics books, like levels 1 to 8 or whatever it is, right? And she could read, but she just wouldn't, right? I know she knew it, but she wouldn't do it. So when I took her out of school, I thought, I'm going to have to do something. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing. So I was trying to get her to read these books, and she just wasn't having any of it, right? And I was like, oh my God. So I took her to this home ed group, which is not far from me. And, you know, these mums have been doing it years. So I was chatting to the one mum, and she said, look, I told her about this scenario, and I don't really know what I'm doing. And she said, do you want some advice? And I was like, yeah, anything. And she said, don't try and make her read. She said, read her stories like you would always do. She said, but don't put any pressure on her.
Yeah.
And I thought, do you know what? I've got absolutely nothing to lose. I'm just going to try this. So we didn't. So bearing in mind, she wasn't in school. She had no influence from, no pressure making her read from me, Darren, her grandparents, anything like that. And it must just have been after her 5th birthday. And me and Darren were downstairs, and she called us up, and we walked upstairs, and she had all these phonics books that I got her, and they were all over the bed. And I said, what are you doing, babe? And it was quite late at night. And she said, can I read you a story? And I thought, so me and Darren were like, yeah. So we just went and sat on the bed. I didn't know what to expect. Yeah. And she picked up like a level 4 or 5, and she read the whole book front to back, every word. And I was like, I didn't do that. Darren didn't do it. She's not in school. Like, her grandparents didn't do it. And I thought, we've got something very wrong about the way we think we teaching our children. We didn't have to teach them to what, they learn how to do it based on their environment. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that really settled my mind, because I didn't ever pressure her. And then by age 7, she was reading Darren's law books through no pressure at all. And I was like, this is how easy it is. We've just been brought up and programmed to think that they have to do it this way, or they're not ever going to make anything of themselves. It's just nonsense, Exactly. Most of the people I know left school with nothing, got their own businesses, very successful people doing what they want to do.
Me too.
It's very misleading, because I remember them saying, your GCSEs are going to carry you around for the rest of your life. Well, that's a load of crap, because 2 years after I left school,
no, it's a load of rubbish.
I went in to do this job thing, whatever. I was just flitting about, didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life then. And I was doing this business and finance course, right? So 2 years after I'd sat my GCSEs, I'd do them again. And I was like, I thought these were supposed to carry me, or it's only been, I'm 18, like, or 19 or whatever I was. And I had to resit these like key skill things. And I was thinking, what's the point then? Do you know what I mean? What's the point? And I'm not suggesting everybody don't do them and whatever. If you want to do them, great. But all I'm saying is they're not necessary to become the best version of yourself you want to be. It's just
exactly. And thanks for sharing that, Kathryn. There's a lot there that I could unpack. One of them that I'm really going to stand out, I'm going to remember, is the fact that when you take the pressure off, because I learned too from you, I have no idea of homeschooling. I don't have kids at the moment, but I like that. The idea that when you take the pressure off kids, and here's the thing, that there's a meme I saw once, and I've never forgot it. It's like, the best way to make kids learn is to be a good role model parent, a mum and dad, and your kids literally want to become you. Because I don't want to bash my parents, but obviously they weren't, in my mind as a kid, good role models for me to think, oh, I really want to be like them. But if they are like your kid is, and many kids that get homeschooled, they see their parents like learning and enjoying life and discovering, and they're like, I want to be like that. I want to read because I see my dad reading. I want to forage because I see my dad foraging. I see my mum learning on YouTube. I want to copy the same stuff. So that's how you teach kids. And by the way, I reconnected with all my old school friends, which I haven't seen in 15 years recently, a lot of them. And literally, I'm not kidding you, all the ones that done really bad, that were naughty, like in school, are like, have their own businesses now. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, and me too. But listen, I'm a failure. I've written many books, and I've helped a lot of people. I'm doing a lot of good things in the world. But according to a school piece of paper, I'm a dumbo. Like, so many of us are dumb according to a piece of paper. But that's what woke us up, because I don't mean to be mean to people that get the piece of paper, but they often are. They might be smart with memory and rote learning, but they just don't have the to undo the lies of this system doesn't require the kind of smart, that piece of paper, because if you do the piece of paper thing, you've got a good piece of paper, you'll still believe the lies in the system. And that's important, because if you believe the lies of the system, it's going to hold you back from being truly happy, truly healthy, truly wealthy, and truly abundant in relationships and friendships. It's going to hold you back in so many areas of your life if you have the piece of paper and you go down that road of doing it for other people. And no, that's not true happiness. True happiness comes from loads of things that like you do with your kid, and like foraging and nature and permaculture and like health and happiness and unlearning, because there's so many lies out there. It's an honor actually, and it's fun for me to unpack and learn all these things, because there's so many things I've been told aren't true that I never got a chance to learn from school. School didn't teach me the stuff that I wanted to know, that I've had to learn now. You know, it never does. School is not good.
And that's it, even in my experience, you know, and I'm pretty good. I got a very good memory. My short-term memory is terrible. I remember dates, times, faces, you know, I'm very good like that. But in school, I did always wonder, because I was either not there, because I used to much all the time, I used to skip school, or when I was there, I was either daydreaming or I was a distraction, like distracting other people. And the only two lessons that I liked was French, because I could speak it fluently at the time. I can't now, it's been bloody years,
Nice.
20 years or something since I've even spoke it. But from a kid, look, I knew it from a kid. So when I went into comp, I knew it anyway. So that, and English literature, because I like to read, right? Every other thing, what's wrong with me then? Because I don't actually like any of the ones. I liked art, but only because I could arse around in the classroom. I can't draw. I'm not very, you know, I'm not. But other than that, I thought, well, if this is and this is why I spent my time then after I left school, swanning about getting on all these different jobs, because nothing was for me, you know. I finally settled down,
right,
accounts and whatever, and even though I can do them, no offense to, you know, people who do them, I found it boring. It's not, I could never work, and then obviously I had my own business and stuff, but you know, I could never go. It didn't make me happy. I was doing that old gotta work to get money stuff, you know, the sort of necessities, but sort of, and it brings everything else down, doesn't it? And has a massive knock-on effect to everything.
It does.
Else. Huge knock-on effect. And makes
it does. Literally for me, school was unhappiest days of my life, but because of what broke me and made me shy and socially awkward and all that stuff. But actually, I'm grateful, because that's what woke me up. Like, the system let me down, and then therefore that made me unlearn all this stuff. And I'm nowhere near done. One of the things I find fascinating in life, Kathryn, is there's so much to learn, to be humble about. And look, I might know a little bit about urine, I might know a little bit about the power of health, but I even learn new things from people on Facebook and real life and about health. It shocks me every day. I'm literally humbled by social media too, if I'm being honest, because I know there's a big thing with people bashing social media in the mainstream and saying it's all bad. And I understand it's controlled and people watch, and Facebook and all that stuff. But if I'm being honest with my life, Facebook's changed my life. Like, literally, Facebook and the connections I've made, which I've moved into the physical, meeting up with people, and I'm now going to work. My dreams are with people. I'm going to build retreats. Social media is a powerful tool that we should all use to unite, and because that's how people are going to watch us right now. And it's how, because you think at the beginning of your journey, I'm sure you're the same, you think you're alone. You think you're alone. You're the only person that thinks like that. I was like, I'm the only person that thinks like this. No one understands me. Then you get on social media, and I was like, oh, there's people that like think like me. And then it's encouraging, because we think we're alone, and we're not alone. There's loads of us that and we're growing. I don't know your opinion on that. I think there's more and more of us are waking up. I know that's cliche as well, but I literally think more and more people are waking up now because of what's going on with 9/11. That woke loads of people up. And 9/11, COVID, all of the false flags they do, they all wake people up. And they're trying to stop it. They're trying to stop it, but they'll fail.
Periods in time as well, because obviously we've been sort of on this journey at roughly the same time, and I don't know how you see it, but from what I've seen, like you just said, you see it sort of growing, and then something big will happen, like a big massive false flag that'll wake another load of people up, but I gotta be honest, Harry, I have never seen anything like the last 12 months. Don't get me wrong, there's still a load of people who don't know what's going on, right? But it is to the point where social media is having a battering, because now the mainstream are taking notice, because they know damn well, and this is why they're like, oh, all the conspiracies all over social media. I'm banned again. I'm banned off Facebook.
Yeah, I saw it.
I'll
oh right.
Yeah, I'm banned.
You're banned? I thought you was back on again. Oh no.
Oh bloody hell. They took my Twitter. They take. I can't get onto
Yeah.
Parler. I'm going to give Gab a go. Gab and Telegram. I'm going to give.
Are you on Instagram? Instagram. Those are good. Instagram too is a very good one. I don't know if you're into that one.
Oh, Instagram, yeah. I don't know what's happening with them all though, Harry. All I'm seeing is the social media platforms are going down, like, you know, and I think Facebook and Twitter are going to be the ones to really sort of hit a massive low.
Yeah.
Just gone right down. I just seen them, their shares. So something big's going on, something massive's going on. But what I'll do, I'm going to have to shoot off now. But it's been fantastic talking to you, love. It's been brilliant, and we'll do it again soon.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it again soon, and I'll edit this for you, right? And I'll send it to you, and you can put it on Facebook because I can't do it, but tag me in it or whatever. And then when I get back on,
but you can put it on, Kathryn. You can put it on your YouTube. You can put it on your YouTube, though, can't you? You can put it on your own YouTube.
I'll edit it. I'll put it on YouTube. I'll send you the link so you can link it.
Perfect, because I can take it from YouTube and put it onto other people's. Yeah. And by the way, Kathryn, if you want to return, I'd like to return the favor and interview you about homeschooling and what your story is to other people. If you want, I do it on Instagram. That's the only way I can do it at the moment. So if you can maybe make an account for Instagram if you don't have one, that's the only way I can do that with you. So if you're up for that, we can do that definitely next few weeks. I'd love to next week.
Yeah, I'll have to sort myself an account out. I've got to. But yeah, we'll do that. And it's been lovely speaking to you. Lovely to see your face, your smiley happy face.
Hey.
See one.
Thank you so much for having me, Kathryn. And have a good one. Say hi to Darren and Grace for me. I love them both. It's good. And I hope to meet up with you guys in the future.
Yeah, we love you.
Man.
We love you. Right, take care, Harry.
Yeah, man.
See you, love.
Yeah, bye, man.
Bye. Bye.